This spring here is designed only as a trip spring. If this sweep here hits something, then this is designed to trip so it doesn't bust everything off. And then as soon as you raise it up, this will slam back forward and you're ready to go again, or you can back up and it will bend, it will snap back forward. That's all this spring does. There's some setting to it. You can tighten this down. This is threaded inside there, and tighten down what it takes to make it trip. This screw here is an adjustment. There's threads down here, and when you move this piece forward by screwing this out, but it doesn't screw out, it's stuck in there. Okay, it's held tight. Then it pushes this forward. When it pushes this forward, it noses that sweep down. And when you screw this and pull it back, then it pulls this sweep up. I want this running pretty flat, pretty flush. Okay, from here to here and from here to here, the more distance there is between those, the more stuff will go through your cultivator. And this one here, you can take the bolt out up here and you can adjust where this stays on here. This is kind of hodgepodge together. It's kind of a hybrid we built. So you can adjust it. We need to drill more holes in this so we can adjust these different places, but we haven't needed to. But that's one adjustment. You can adjust this here, up and down, how deep this sweep goes.
How deep do you want it?
About 1.5 inches. About 1.5 inches. And it depends. You get out in the field and field conditions will dictate where you're going to have to set those so they work right. If they're going 1.5 inches deep, 1.5 inches can be too deep if that soil is compressed and it starts throwing that soil. If you're a real loose, mellow, fluffed up soil, 2 inches may not be too deep. You've got to get enough soil and enough flow and enough weight, because I don't know, I can't remember, velocity is weight times speed. I don't know the equation. I'm not a physicist or anything, but the less speed you got, the more weight you got to have, the more mass of something you got to throw to get the job done. Now I want to shoot a tiny little bullet that's on the front of a lot of propellant. I want to shoot a little bit of dirt with a huge amount of velocity, okay? But I've still got to have enough dirt to do the job, okay? Because the thing about slowing the action down and putting more mass to it, you can't control it as well. See, a rifle, a high-powered rifle is more accurate than a shotgun or a deer slug, because it's got a little bitty bullet, a lot of propellant, so it can really be accurate. That's the way I want it. I want to put a smaller amount of soil with a lot of velocity to get that slammed in there and cover up the weeds and grass. These here, you want to make it so that when this is in the ground, everything's in the ground the depth it should be, these should protect no more than the top half of your bean plant. If I was standing up, you could put a bed sheet over my head real easy. But if you we attach a pipe to the top of my head and go 6 foot up in the air, you'd have an awful hard time getting the bed sheet over my head. I run these so I can't get the bed sheet, the dirt, over soybeans. Okay, that's all that's necessary. Any YouTube videos I've seen on cultivation, they run these all the way down on the ground. 3 inches on each side of the beans, 4 inches on each side of the bean. There is no dirt allowed to get into that crop. And what you're going to do is have 4 inches of weeds on each side of the crop. And that crop, instead of yielding 45, 50 bushel acre for soybeans, you're going to have maybe 10, if you're lucky, bushels the acre. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Okay? And professional companies do that. They're selling their cultivators. Totally unacceptable. It's just I can't understand that. This is why the rolling fenders don't work, because the rolling fenders roll. And the slides are blades. They go through the soil and they do the job they need to do that you can't get done with a rolling fender. And rolling fenders were designed for when they use herbicides, when you really didn't need to know how to cultivate. And they protected that plant from dirt and clods that rolled in because they used herbicides to control the weeds instead of cultivation.